Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Pure Food Fridays. Today's recipe takes a few hours, so I did the first part already. Hi there, Lewis. We're going to do the middle part together, and then the last part is a pretty easy explanation. So, let's see here. I almost went back and forth. We don't want to do that. Hi, Bobby. Thank you, Lewis, for inviting people. Hi, Joyce. We're making my mom's chili beans today. I know you've made them a lot through the years. And there's Holly. Thank you so much. And April, thank you. And April, I finally figured out who your mother was. Grace. She was it Sunshine for Every Day? Yeah. You're Barnes & Noble, Joyce? What state are you in? Hey there, El Viejo. Thank you. Is that Toily? Is that how you say your name? Toily? I wanted to say Tolly, but there's another I in there. Yay, thank you, El Viejo. So, oh, you know what, this light, I forgot about this light. It's not very good. A nickname, all right. Thank you, El Viejo, for sharing. Violet, oh, I had an Aunt Violet. Oh, Joyce, you're seeing Danica's books at Barnes & Noble, yeah. And thank you for those hearts. By the way, I haven't figured out yet what I'm giving away, but because you guys have been so generous and I have over 150,000 hearts, I want to give you guys something. Like I say, I haven't figured it out yet, but probably next Tuesday. I'm thinking I'll go ahead and do one of those things that Danica does. It seems like fun, you know, finding the top 10 or 15 people that are top, I mean the highest engaged. That means, well, how often you join my scopes, how long you're on them, how much you comment, and I think they include hearts in that. I'm certainly going to include hearts in that because that's why I'm giving something away. I was thinking there, somewhere in a closet somewhere, I have pictures, Danica and Crystal's pictures that they used as little girls when they went on auditions, and I thought that might be a fun thing. I know I've got a stack of them, again, somewhere. I just have to figure out where. So I thought maybe, you know, you like that idea, El Viejo, okay. Since you know pretty much for sure you're going to be in the hat. Yeah. If I can find them before Easter, then, because I'll be seeing Crystal at Easter, then I can ask her to sign hers. The chili is not cooked already. The beans are cooked, but the actual chili is not. So I'm just kind of like, you know, chatting with you, maybe for another minute or so, and then we'll get into the recipe. But what is, okay, good, all right, I can't, sorry for squinting at you guys. Teresa, I saw you already join. Is it going all right? Oh, and I didn't block, last week I blocked the light from this kitchen window, but I guess I'll just look like I have a halo today, huh? Oh, well, oh shoot, I've already forgotten your name, Toily. Anyway, this is not a traditional chili recipe. My mother called it chili beans because she put chili powder in it. It's a Portuguese version of cooking pinto beans. So Violet, yeah, my aunt's name. We'll see how I do. I don't know. If you have, Joyce, if you have to be one of those blue checkmark people, then I will not be doing live Facebook. Otherwise, if I can figure out a way to have two things going, I don't have two devices. I do not have extras of my mother's cookbooks. No, Lewis, I do not. Sorry. Actually, I'll show you if you didn't see it. A huge Portuguese bread company. It's delicious. Portuguese, do they make the Portuguese sweetbread? Because I'm going to be doing, if I have time, I'm going to do some of that for Easter for my family. Traditionally, we make the sweetbread and then yes, and then we put a hard-boiled egg in the dough and make it look like a cute little basket, and then bake it. And that's then we give that to our loved ones. So let's see if you can see. This is the recipe from my mom's book. There are typos in here, and things won't be exactly as she wrote it. Because it just, you know, like my mother in here put 1 large onion. Well, what does that mean? So I went ahead and chopped up what I saw her chop up, and it comes out to 2 cups. So it'll be a little, or animals, you know, that's just the way they did it. In fact, when I first got involved with health, my mother thought I was on some kind of a crazy fad because she didn't understand the need for it. All right, so to this we add 2 cups of chopped onions. Now, the onions, you see they're very coarsely chopped. My mother never used a cutting board. She would just hold whatever it was in her hand with a little paring knife, and she would just cut it into, you know, so I guess you'd consider this very roughly cut, like, you know, good old-fashioned country cooking, as opposed to any sort of, you know, fine flavors, subtle flavors. So we want to cook the onion for about 5 minutes, and during this time, hi Kevin, while this is happening, let me remind you about the onions and why onions are so good for us. Oh, that flame's coming out here. I don't want to, that wouldn't be very good. All of a sudden I saw blue flames coming at me. So, onions have something called quercetin, and quercetin is antiviral, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and has anti-allergic agents. I'm not going to go through everything I told you guys last week, but it is beneficial in helping us to not have hardening of the arteries. It helps with our cholesterol, heart disease, circulation problems, insulin resistance, eye-related disorders, allergies, asthma, hay fever, stomach ulcers, cognitive impairment, viral infections, chronic fatigue syndrome, cancer, and it's just really good for us, right? So that's all the stuff that onions are good for, and that's I don't know that onion powder, in fact, I'm almost positive onion powder would not have the same qualities to it, because they say that once an onion is in our homes for a week, it's already lost 25% of its quercetin. So I said quercetin, it's quercetin. So if it's gone through the process of being dehydrated, you know, all that, I doubt it would have it. So after your onions, they're starting to get nice and soft. I used a white onion. I think, you know, my mom, she used whatever she had growing in her garden, which was usually either white, or some people call them yellow onions, some people call them brown onions, but the ones that have more of a yellow skin. Not red onion, either white or yellow. And then to this, where's my stuff? Okay. To this we add 3 cloves of garlic, which comes out to about 2 tablespoons, and a tablespoon of parsley. So we add that in. You want to stir for another minute or so. Now garlic has some of that, yes, garlic is great, isn't it? And oh my gosh, the house just smells so good. You just get the onions and the garlic in a pan, and it gets everybody hungry smelling this. Now we're going to add the beef. And I just got, this beef was just ground yesterday when I was at the butcher shop. Let's see if you can see this. I know it looks fatty, and it's very coarsely ground. This beef is 100% organic and pasture raised. It's important to know, pasture raised, grass fed. I've heard that if a meat is just, I'm going to add this in here, it's a pound, 1 pound of ground beef. I've heard that if the label just says grass fed, that can mean they're given alfalfa, because that's a grass. And I can't see who said hi, but hi! Because alfalfa is a grass. And a lot of the alfalfa these days is genetically modified. So if it says 100% grass-fed, that doesn't mean it's real healthy, right? Unfortunately. If it says it's grass-fed or pasture-raised, pasture-finished, then you know that was actual healthy grass the whole time, and not the dried alfalfa. And yes, organic is key. So far, things cannot be labeled organic if it's a genetically engineered crop, or I guess soon we'll be including salmon in that. So organic is key. Now, I don't know how the beef industry works, but they could say it's organic and still feed it grain. And we want to stay away from the grain-fed, because cows just aren't meant to eat grain. They're meant to eat grass. And that makes all the difference in their health and consequently our health when we eat it. Now, in here too, we're going to put, and this is where the word chili came into the beans, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, not cayenne. This is not spicy. In fact, if you like spicy, my mother didn't like spicy. She didn't cook spicy. Apparently, her mother did, but my mother didn't. So she probably adapted her mother's recipe to this, because she said if you want it spicy, then you add a hot pepper to the pot, however hot you want it to be. So 2 teaspoons of the chili powder, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin. And I get all of any of the herbs or spices that I purchase and don't raise myself. I get organic, and which, as far as I know, also means that they're not irradiated. It's something that started a couple decades back or so, using, I don't know what it was from, kind of like leftover radiation from somewhere. It's like, hey, this is what we can do with it. And they found that if they put these foods, these spices and herbs, these dried spices and herbs in front of the radiation, that they had a much longer shelf life. Well, I personally don't want to eat that. So I started looking for labels that said non-irradiated, and I've noticed that those labels have left as the organic labels have come in. Yes, you can grow your own, although I don't know that I could grow cinnamon or the parsley I have in here is from my backyard. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Now let me see, where am I at? I did the fat, I did the onion, the garlic, the parsley, the beef, the chili powder, the cumin. And this is pretty well cooked. And now, let me see, let me bring the camera over here. You can see. You see that? There's still a little bit of red in here, but this is beef, and it's good, healthy beef. So if it's not like cooking pork or something, or chicken. If it's a little bit rare, that's okay. Yeah. Oh shoot. No. no. Oh, there you are. Okay. I thought it was stopping on me again. All right. So, are you guys still there? I'm not seeing anything except my title. Oh my goodness. There you are. Okay. Yay! All right. So now I'm going to very carefully take what's in this pan and put it in with the beans. Let me turn this so you can see what I'm doing. Uh-oh. Phone's still working. You're still there. I know. Did that sound horrible? It's this new little stand that I have. It works great, but it's a little bit lightweight. All right. So I have it. All right. As long as the meat didn't go on the floor, that would be really bad. Yes, phone down, phone back up. So now I'm going to take this and very carefully bring it in with my beans. Do this a little at a time. Because these pots and pans, these ceramic ones, are very heavy on their own. I'm going to do the rest of it now. Sorry you're not seeing this. Go in, but there it is. I'm going to stir it a little bit. Do I dare show this to you? Are they normally internal core of these is cast iron? I think it's pure ceramic. You can totally smell that. So this is almost done as far as what we need to do to it. What's left to do is make sure I have you secure this time, is putting the lid back on, because we did have the lid on while it was cooking. Turning the heat on. And now that's going to cook for another hour. When the hour is done, smell-o-vision, yes, when the hour is done, we add 1 cup or 8 ounces of tomato sauce and then salt and pepper to taste. And I recommend starting with the time you taste it, see what you think on the salt and pepper. Start maybe with a ½ teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, taste again, because remember the pork that was in there to begin with was salty. So you might not even want to add more salt, it's up to you. And let me see, and then when you, to quote my mother, these beans are better the next day. And they are, you know, anything like this it's always better the second, third day. There's when it's just like the flavors have really blended. So, and you'll see when you put them in the refrigerator, you know, when you're done with the cooking, you let it cool down enough so that it's okay to put in your refrigerator. Put it in there. Next day when you bring it out, there's going to be a layer of fat, maybe even this thick, on top. Well, you can take that. And it's solid, right? It's solid, hard fat, and you can just, you know, take most of it, if not all of it, depending on the consistency, and remove that. And then you will have, if you want to have a dish that's lighter in fat, you can do that. So, my papers fell on the floor when, so now, speaking of the fat, which is what made me think of these, the difference between grass-fed beef and your conventionally raised beef is that the grass-fed beef is a major source of omega-3 fats. Omega-3s in beef fed on grass is 7% of the total fat content compared to only 1% in grain-only fed beef. And also in the grass-fed beef, the recommended ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats is present. It's in the proper ratio. Grass-fed beef is loaded with other natural minerals and vitamins, plus it's a great source of CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. And this is a fat that reduces the risk of cancer, obesity, diabetes, and a number of immune disorders. So, and this is all according to Dr. Mercola, which I think is a fabulous, fabulous site. Mercola.com, I think, is the actual website. So you see, when you, I mean, I've read where when you eat, oh, thank you. Thank you. I got this in another country, I think. Anyway, Italy or Greece or somewhere like that. I just thought that'll be a fun souvenir. And it's very lightweight, so it was appropriate for the weather where I was. Yeah, so I was saying, I read somewhere or heard somewhere that when you eat grass-fed beef, that as far as the fat is concerned, that it's the same, it has all the same benefits as eating fish oil. So I don't know if that's 100% accurate. It would be, however, much closer to that. And then, and the pinto beans, you know, they have the good fiber, the cholesterol-lowering fiber, just like other beans. And then there's something, oh, it's the molybdenum, which is is something that it has a lot of, and making them especially good for anyone who has diabetes, insulin resistance, or hypoglycemia. So the pinto beans in particular are a very good source of that, in addition to being a good source of folate, and of course protein, B1, B6, etc., etc. So that's all of the health stuff, and my phone is telling me I only have 20% left battery life. So any questions? Let me turn this off so I don't lean into this fire. Any questions? Any comments? Like I said, this is really good with the cornbread. The cumin flavor is very strong in it, and which is something. Post the recipe. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yeah, and this is something, like you say, it tastes better the second day, and then it's better. You don't have to soak the beans ahead of time, but it does make them easier to digest if you do that soaking and then get rid of that water and put new water in. So it's the kind of thing that you want to. You know, you want to think about this a couple days ahead of time. So you have that night to soak the beans, you have the day to cook them, and then you eat them the next day. The next day. Goes really well with rice. Oh, come on, Shannon, you can cook, right? You already started, El Viejo? El Viejo posted a picture of 1 pound of beans on a scale. A beautiful picture. And so I'm guessing, since I said I was soaking a pound of pinto beans, that he had his beans soaked already, and so he can start this recipe. You know, Holly, I don't know how to, I'm not an expert in converting non-vegetarian dishes into vegetarian dishes. I eat both. That's what works best for me. I know different body types, I think it actually goes by your blood type or something. Different body types respond better to vegetarian, only vegetarian, or then also bringing meat in. So, and I've never had the need to figure that out. I do my vegetarian stuff, you know, like I've got the azuki bean recipe I want to share with you. That's a wonderful, delicious, cleansing vegetarian thing. And then I've got the other stuff that I do, which has meat in it. Oh, thank you, whoever said I was beautiful. Yeah, sorry, Holly. I know. Getting hungry, smelling. Boy, with this bone broth going, I am constantly hungry. I have to remind myself my body doesn't really need food. It's just because I'm smelling this bone broth. So, all right, everyone. Well, I'm going to end the scope now. I hope you enjoy this recipe. I'd love your feedback. Anything in particular that you would like me to cook for you, let me know that too. And yes, you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, or if you're in some other part of the world, you might just be starting your day. All right. I'll see you later. Join me on Tuesday so we can meditate together.